Hello everyone. Well, this is the first video of long tutorial videos for Unity. This video will show how to download and install Unity, also an overview of Unity's interface. Here, the first step is to go to unity.com, go here in this menu, the DevTools menu, and then download Unity. Once you're in this page, you can see this big blue button and you can download Unity Hub with it. If your operating system is not showing well here, you can choose right here below. You can choose from Windows, Mac, or Linux. Unity works well with these three operating systems. After you download it, I can show it here. I already downloaded it. You have this installation setup. Just agree with the terms. And here there is an important information for you. Usually, Unity Hub will manage all Unity versions and your projects. If you want to keep everything inside the same folder, I advise you to install this in a hard drive that you have space. Usually SSDs are expensive and don't have space. It will not affect a lot your development. But well, this you can choose also later where you install the Unity versions. Here I prefer to choose a hard drive that I have space than to divide the Unity versions through my hard drives to my SSDs. And just click here, install, and well, just finish it. Just go next, 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 and finish this setup. I already have installed the Unity Hub, so I'll show it to you the program right away. Here it is. This is the 3.4.2 version. It usually changes a little bit its design depending on the version. Here we first need to install Unity. What we installed was Manager. Unity Hub manages install all versions of Unity that you have in your computer and also manage your projects. So you have here projects. I have here lots of projects and also the versions that I need. You can see here there are versions like 2017. It's an old version because I have projects dating back that version, that time. So what I advise you to have is this version here because it's a stable version and it's a recent version and or an earlier if you are watching this video in the future. Well, here you can click here in install editor to install a Unity version in your machine. You can choose between the long-term support and other versions that you may have. Here they show if it's installed or not, and here you have the latest version below 2022 version. Okay, so that's one that I advise you to have. And if you really need to another version for a specific cause or specific project, you can download the other ones. Well, closing this, you can. Oh, of course, I forgot. I'll show you some specific and important information about the version installation. When you click here, the install button, you can check the download options that you may have. I advise you to download and install Visual Studio Community 2019 or earlier, or latest, of course, the 2022 version, and but the community version. Okay. If you want to work with Android, mobile or tablets, you want to install Android support, build support. If you have a Mac OS system, and you want to work with smartphones, tablets from Apple, you need to have a developer pro inside. You need to have to being accepted to developer program. You can choose here to to have this support. I really don't advise you to have the tvOS system. It's something really specific. Linux, if you have somewhere to test. Mac, if you have a Mac. And this one here, I really advise you to have the Universal Windows Platform. If you want to deliver for Windows and Windows related devices, it is one of the best ways to do that. WebGL, it's good. You can develop for to put your games into HTML, and that's really great. And the Windows Build Support IL2 CPP. We can talk about this later. Uh, Below that, just the documentation, and that's it. So if you are checking what you really need for Windows, it will be community version of Visual Studio, Android support, Universal Windows Platform, WebGL, Windows Build Support. If you want to have it in Linux, I would console everything plus Linux and everything plus Mac. Okay, dedicated server, you don't need to install that. Not if you are beginning to work with Unity. And just hit continue, and that's it. Download it. It will already have a lot of stuff to download, and it will take a time to download and install. Okay, since I already have my version installed, and you can see here I have plenty of add-ons for it because I really work with Unity. It's fine, but you get here some versions you just have like WebGL, Windows. I don't need anything else because of the project I was working with. Here, right now, we can go to Learn, where you can download and plenty of tutorials and stuff for your games. If you want to install here, you can see here everything that you downloaded. That's a great way to start testing Unity interface. And but let's start a new project. Let's go to a new project, and here in projects we can see our projects. Probably you will be empty, and we just need here to click in new project. You can see here in the versions we can choose which version I want to create with. I don't have the 2020.3. I'll choose this one here, 2022.2. That's the latest I have. And we have plenty of types of projects we can build here. I really advise you to start the 3D one. All of them are really near each other. They'll just need they'll have just a starting point for you to begin with, like with VR. It will start with VR commands, and if you have a VR headset, you may connect with it, the AR core or things like that. But I really advise you to start with 3D one. You can put here your project one. You can choose here your the place where you're saving it. Okay, I can find anywhere. You can just choose to save your project. You can save it also inside Unity Hub. It's a good way to start. And well, just hit create project. It will take a while. I'll pause the video and come back once it's open, but it will take a while since Unity carries a lots inside your RAM memory. He will show like a screen like this one, and this will uh, uh, maybe take, depending on your machine, it can take like 5 minutes to load. Okay, so you need to load it here. It took almost 3 minutes to load it. Once it's open, it's fine. You can navigate through it and it's not so heavy. But starting it, it's always takes time. Well, let's just give it a look in this user interface. Let's talk about a little bit of it. Well, let's start for the main scene. This part here, you can just watch it, you can walk, you can see everything that's happening. It already starts the scene with this like sky box. See, you can even have the sun or the moon here. This skybox, it's a starting point for every Unity project. Usually you can take off it later depending on your game, but usually it will you stay with it. If you press the right mouse button, you can look, you can see the eye there. You can just give it a look like an FPS game and see that you have the keys just below the eye. You can walk with AWSD like an FPS game. You can just watch the scene. You can see everything from here. If you don't want to go directly, you can also zoom out and zoom in of your project. That's great because it's near what you usually do or you usually use an FPS game. Here you have the three axes, the Z axis, the Y axis, and the X axis. Pay attention that the Z is the one that's upwards. It's not the usually the the y-axis it's upward, but usually the z will be upwards. You'll understand it later when we are importing 3D models. I'll talk about that. Well, if this is the first place where you just uh, put everything, you see everything. You have some tools here that we'll talk about a bit later, to move, to scale, to rotate objects. And here by the side of it you have everything you have in the scene. It's like in the stage, it's a game stage. You can have like trees, rocks, NPCs, everything will be here. Here is it's the place where you can have um, the every object inside the scene. Here, for example, we have the camera. That's how it sees how if we play the game, how it will see the game screen. You have a directional light, we can control that, and we can add objects to the scene. For example, if I click here, we can create a 3D object, and for example a cube. It will pop up here in the scene. We can control where it will be, see? And if you click the main camera here, it will show up in the screen. If you bring it closer and I click in the camera, here it's closer to the screen. Okay, we'll do that later also. So here, everything inside the scene will show up here. These objects inside this tree, it's a tree of objects. Each one has properties, each one has configurations, and that's what's showing in the other side of the screen. Here you can see the position, the rotation, the scale of the object. You can just go do that and see position, rotation, scale. You can check everything that the camera should have, for example the skybox. If you click the cube, for example, there will be other properties that you can change here. Each object has different properties, and we can configure it in our projects. For example, here the cube as a physics object, it has a mesh and a mesh handler. It allows the cube to be heated, to be um, to act as a physics object. Right now, the physics is not enabled. If I just let it this way, the cube will stay as it is, but we can apply gravity or things with this cube just right away in Unity. And just below that, if this here is the scene tree where there are plenty of objects in this scene, here and here you can see everything that's in your project, like scenes, assets, packages. See, I have plenty of packages here for us to use inside the Unity, and that's something that we may want to be cautious and attentions with these parts. For example, if I click here the scenes, I can see the sample scenes, that's this one here. But if we have 3D objects, 3D models, different from the ones that Unity creates, we can import into the scene. We can create and import scripts, C# scripts for the game, and music and videos and everything that Unity supports. So here it's a step closer to your operating systems. You even can get to your operating system from here. If we click here in the scenes, I can choose many options, and one of them is show in Explorer. So it will show me my page, my folder page where I am at. So I was at scenes, I can go up one, and here is the Unity project for Visual Studio. Okay, and Just in the front of you, you have the play button. If you click that, just wait a little bit and it will play for you. Here it's what we see in the game. Here's the camera and here is how we will see. The game is just stuck, it's just stopped right there because we don't have any commands for the camera. Just there are no scripts attached to any of those objects, so it's just it's running, but it's frozen. It's you can't do anything in this game besides look at it. If you do that, you can come back to your editor window. You can edit your objects, and when you play again, you can see how that goes up. You can see here the changes that I did. Well, for the start, I think that's enough. That's a lot also. Um, a homework for you is to start putting objects here. Create plenty of objects here and start moving the camera around. Try to recenter it, try to rotate it, try to do whatever you want to do in Unity. It's a first step for you to understand a little bit of this user interface and see what's possible, what's not possible. Don't go too deep inside these options. Just walk superficially here, creating objects. We'll enter in it in later videos. Well, I hope you liked it. Thank you for being with me all this time and see you later.